It's Rion for Get Sexual Attraction. You can go to getsexualattraction.com and download your free report that's going to help you dig more into this so you can get more dates, more follow-ups, and less flakes. All right, the natural way, without game, without manipulation. So women are actually following up with you and into you. Check that report out at getsexualattraction.com. And now we're going to talk about fantasy sex versus physical sex, and briefly undress this issue, a debriefing about fantasy sex attraction and how different it is from the reality of physical sex. So in today's day and age, sex is everywhere. It means many different things. And you're already a professional at manifesting sex. You already have this powerful sexual energy and drive, especially if you're a red-blooded male, that is attracting sex to you. And you may be thinking, that's the last thing I'm attracting to me, Rion. I'll say, no, you're attracting sex. You're already manifesting it. It's just in a different form than you ever realized. And for many modern men, that form is really fantasy sex. So what they're actually attracting is more the fantasy. They value videos, pornography, sexploitation, sex and advertising, webcam girls, images of skin, and the yoga pant websites. And what that is, it's more fantasy. But it feels good to your body, especially when orgasmic energy is involved. Your body is saying, this is sex. It feels like sex. So what you're doing is you're attracting more of it. The thing is, you didn't realize that was actually attracting more fantasy. So where this enters reality with you and women physically is that you can get confused. Your body's confused. Your mind can be like, okay, that's a woman, but my body values fantasy sex. That's the map and belief system, the value, and it can be many different things. Sex equals game. Sex equals solo masturbation fantasy. Sex equals religious sin. Sex has all these different values and meanings with it. So whatever your body is programmed with, that's what you're attracting more of. You're attracting more of the same, the value of sex that it is. So when you believe that, oh, I got to be famous, that's when I'll get women, sex equals fame. What you're attracting is more trying to be famous, not actually sex. Sex is associated with all these different things. Most of them actually lead to fantasy. Sex and advertising, sex sells because it's a powerful force. And that's a whole different subject with a lot of interesting things. You can check out my other YouTube channel, Sex Energy Secrets. Lots of interesting hot stuff going on there. So sex is very powerful. You're already attracting it. Okay, so if you really want to have more of the physical reality, you understand that fantasy sex is very different. You're attracting more the fantasy when you value it. Because your sexual energy is so powerful, all you have to do is shift your values of sex. You will attract something entirely different. Because you're already attracting sex, it's just in these different forms. Your sexual energy is so powerful to attract and manifest things. And all you essentially have to do is shift your values, your definition and meaning of sex to something that's in alignment. So the physical reality of sex, physical sexual intercourse, and that which leads to it is physically flirting, kissing, making out with a woman. Those are entirely different values than fantasy sex values. Yet our body gets confused because sex is everywhere. In modern media, in Las Vegas, in LA, like sex is everywhere. Glamour and all these different meanings confuses your body. And it just blinds you to what is actually leading to the physical reality. Things are more exciting, sexy, and interesting than ever before in history now. They really are. Everything is sexier than ever. But until you can actually get a grip on that which leads to the physical, bite her ass, what? Where did that come from? Bite her. You're going to be confused because your body is valuing more fantasy sex attraction. When you're with a woman physically, that's what confuses you. It's like it doesn't compute. Your body wants to be behind the computer with Kleenex tissue, okay? And so when you're with a woman physically, because you don't value it in that which leads to the physical, you'd rather be somewhere else. That's why you have anxiety and so forth, because you don't actually value the real thing. You probably value fantasy sex. So getting clear on your values and definitions of sex, and then releasing on them and choosing something that gets you somewhere, like sex equals the physical process of seduction and reproduction, then you can start getting in alignment. So there's no fear, no anxiety when you're in alignment with life. Life will go on. The more you're in alignment with life, the more you're a channel, the more attractive, sexier you will be, like movie stars. Yeah. And you can get rid of these dysfunctional meanings of sex to the point where they don't control or own you. And then you can bring them in and have a mix of fantasy and physical reality. But from a conscious perspective where you really have choice and power. And then life is even sexier than before, where sex isn't something guilty, shameful, where it owns you and you're in the dark in the closet and you're this dysfunction, anxiety around women and nervousness. You can have an empowered reality with women, and you can be enjoying life because life is sexier than ever before in history. This is Rion. Subscribe to this channel, and I'll talk to you soon. Briefly undress this issue, debriefing yoga pant websites. Bite her ass, what? Where did that come from? Bite her. It's like it doesn't compute. There's no fear, no anxiety when you're in alignment with life. Life will go on. The more you're in alignment with life, the more you're a channel, the more attractive, sexier you will be, like movie stars. Bite her.